Today I'm going to be answering the most common questions that I've got over the last 8 months from my subscribers about my total knee replacement. Please check with your doctor or your healthcare provider regarding any of the questions that I'm going over. This was my experience that I went through with my total knee replacement and things that I felt were really helpful in my situation. So I hope it helps you. The biggest question that I got through emails, comments in my different videos, the most common question I got was about pain. And I could completely relate to that because not only is there a lot of pain before you have the knee replacement, there is quite a bit of pain initially after you have it. And as you start to heal, your whole body is going through the healing process, and unfortunately it is somewhat of a painful process. But these are the different things that either my doctor recommended, my physical therapist recommended, or I found out on my own that really helped me the most. So the three, actually I guess it was the four things that I did prior to my total knee replacement. The first thing was my doctor prescribed 6 weeks of physical therapy to really strengthen my muscles around my knee and just help me get in a little better shape. That was super helpful. I was actually in extreme pain before I started the physical therapy, and I can't say the pain went away, but it got much better. The next thing that my doctor recommended, now this was an out-of-pocket cost and ended up costing me about $1,000, but I would do it again and I would recommend it to anybody, and that is aloe vera injections. Now this is a cold therapy that's done under ultrasound that goes right into the nerve in your knee, and they do it about a week prior to the surgery, and I guess it kind of stuns the nerve, and it lasts like up to 6 weeks after you've had it done. And I think it was a game changer in going through the recovery process with my total knee replacement. The third thing that I had were, these two things were in the hospital, were nerve blocks in my knee right before the surgery. Like they took me in for the nerve blocks and then I went straight to surgery. And they did several of those, like in my thigh and my calf, everything kind of around my knee, and it really deadened everything. And then, of course, the last thing they did right before I went under was an epidural. So they did that in the operating room, and all those things made a huge difference. I mean, after I woke up in the recovery room, I had very, very little pain. Like I can't, it was negligible. Now it came later, but right after the surgery, all those things put together, I really didn't have any pain. I didn't have any nausea, none of that. I just felt really good. The only thing was my leg was like, carrying a ton of bricks around. It just wouldn't move. It was kind of dead. So another thing that I want to touch on regarding the pain was getting my IV. So I've had IVs for, different surgeries in the past, and, anybody that's had an IV in their hand especially, they can just be really painful. And that seems to be where they always want to give you the IV. It's either your hand or your wrist or something that hurts. This hospital was the first time I ever went in, and they actually did like these little itty bitty shots around where they were going to give me the IV of lidocaine. Now it didn't last very long, but it was long enough that they could get the IV in. And honest to goodness, I felt zero when they were doing the IV. So I told them, you do this on your own, but what if I go to a hospital that doesn't offer that? They said, ask for it. So if they start doing an IV and you notice that they're just going to start jabbing, ask for the lidocaine. They can give it to you. Next, I get a lot of questions. What's better, staples or stitches? Well, I didn't really have either one of those on the top of my knee. What I had done, I had stitches that dissolved more when it was under the skin. It was, I guess, muscular stitches or what have you. And on the top of my skin, they actually glued the skin together and they put this kind of a cloth bandage over it, a long strip of bandage that went the whole length of the cut. And that was glued to my knee as well. You couldn't pull it off. And so I waited about 6 weeks. They said, just wait until it falls off. Initially, I had a bandage over that for like the first week. The physical therapist took that off. And then it was just the little white cloth strip that came off on its own 6 weeks later. So I can't say what it's like to have staples or stitches on the top of your leg, but I can tell you with the glue that they did and the way they did it, I'm like 8-9 months out and I barely can even see that I had knee replacement done. My scar is so minimal that you have to really look to even see it. So I was very happy with it. I had to have nothing removed, no pain later from that. It just kind of fell off on its own. How soon can I shower after total knee replacement? I mean, you don't want to run around not being able to shower. I mean, it's rough. So in my situation, you want to talk to your doctor, of course, find out what they've done with your knee, but I was able to shower right away. So the doctor did tell me when I shower, just make sure I'm not in there too long soaking the bandage that's on my leg. Just take a quick shower, wash my hair, get out of the shower. Make sure if I don't have a seat in my shower that I have a shower chair. Make sure that there's something on the bottom that will keep you from slipping, maybe a shower mat, something like that. And then he also suggested that I put my walker right outside the shower door. So when I got out of the shower, I could hold on and get out and walk to wherever I was going. And I had no problems. I took a shower the day I got home from the hospital, and I took one every day after that. And it just helps you feel refreshed and started for your day. I mean, it's something that worked out fine for me. Now, I have heard other people say that because of staples or what have you, they did have to wait a few days to a week to take a shower. So they actually put, it's not saran wrap, but it's some type of a cling wrap, like you put on a dish that you're taking somewhere for Thanksgiving or whatever. And they put that over their knee and the water wasn't able to get in. So talk to your doctor about things like that might be a different solution for you. I know there's a lot of different products on the market to help you shower out of the shower. So look into those. How soon should I start exercising my new knee? Although you feel like you need to wait about 6 years because of the pain, you really need to start right away. And when I was in the hospital, literally within, I would say, I don't know, maybe 6-8 hours after my surgery, they had me up walking around. And it was very hard because I felt like I was dragging my knee, but I wasn't. I was walking. I had to have a walker. Someone was kind of holding me with a belt around my waist to make sure I didn't fall. But, you're exercising that knee right away. And the reason that I researched and heard that it's so important to get exercise on your knee right away is so that you don't form scar tissue, because it'll want to form right away. And some people are going to form it anyway, no matter how much you exercise. Just know that your leg is going to be stiff. It's going to hurt. There's just no way around those things. It's part of the healing process. You've just had major surgery. There's always going to be swelling involved. Work through it the best you can. What kind of shoes do I wear to physical therapy? I can't tie my shoes. So I was lucky. My husband was kind of my caretaker, so he helped me the first couple weeks to put my tennis shoes on and tie my shoes. And initially, when I had the physical therapist coming to my house, I just had house slippers or my socks on. So I didn't wear any tennis shoes. And believe me, you're not like running a marathon, so you don't need fancy shoes. I think if you wore house slippers to your physical therapy, it isn't going to matter. Most of what you're doing is going to be on the table and you're going to be fine. If you want to look into some slip-on sneakers, that might be a plan. I don't have any and I don't know any to recommend, but I have heard that Skechers makes some nice sneakers that are easy to slip on. But like I said, I've never tried them, so you'd have to research those yourself. What's better, ice machine or ice packs? Well, I tried both, and the ice machine just wasn't for me. It was, you're constantly having to reload the ice. It's not loud. It's actually quite quiet. But I always felt like my leg was moist. I just didn't really care for it. So what I did was I got like 2 ice packs that fit into this little wrap that went around my knee that I got from the hospital. So I had that. But after I went to physical therapy, they had these big gel wraps that were amazing. You could put one under your knee and one over your knee, and they were soft. They weren't hard like a regular ice pack. So I bought a couple of those. I actually linked them in my Amazon store, so I'll have that in the description below. But the ice packs were my choice. But you can try either one. Maybe the ice machine will work better for you. Do I need a caretaker after knee replacement surgery? I live alone. You are going to need some help. It is a very difficult surgery to maneuver around, and there are a lot of options. Talk with your doctor, talk with your healthcare provider, find out what's available. Maybe going to a skilled nursing facility for a week or 2 might be an option. Maybe they have something through your insurance where they can have someone come and help you every day, an actual caretaker. Maybe find out if you've got a family member or a friend who might be willing to come and help you for a couple hours every day. There are things you're going to need help with. But after the initial couple weeks, you'll just be amazed how much you're going to be able to do. Now, I got a lot of questions about people not wanting to take pain pills. They were just worried they would become addicted. They, wanted to kind of rough through it. Do you actually have to take your pain pills? No, I suppose not. But, the pain pills are there to help you through something that otherwise is quite painful. This is not for the lighthearted. It's kind of a rough surgery for the first couple weeks. You got to realize they've put a whole new knee in your leg. It's going to hurt. So what I did, I also don't want to take any unnecessary pills. And for heaven's sake, I did not want to get addicted to anything. But I did take my Tylenol regularly. If they said to take Tylenol, I couldn't take, actually, I think I did take ibuprofen. I don't take blood thinners. But I think I took ibuprofen and I also took Tylenol. I don't remember how they had me space it out, but I took those like clockwork. Whatever they told me to take and in whatever doses, I made an Excel spreadsheet and I followed it to the letter of the law. I just know from my own experience, if you have pain and you can get ahead of it, you're always better off. If you let that pain get away from you, it's very hard to get rid of it. So I knew up front, I'm very compliant that way, and that was just something that I did. Now, as far as the OxyContin, I didn't take it any more than I needed to. So for the first week, I did take it pretty much as prescribed. I took it whenever I needed to go exercise. I would take an OxyContin. If I was, having trouble sleeping, I didn't sleep in bed for a couple weeks. I slept in my recliner. But even when I did start sleeping in bed, I always took Tylenol right before I went to bed. So don't be afraid of your pain pills. Your doctor's not there to get you addicted to drugs, and that's the last thing they want. And it's very hard to get opioids these days. So the fact that they're giving them to you freely tells you something about the surgery. So my recommendation is take your pain pills. Another question I got a lot that I found kind of interesting was, am I too old for total knee replacement? Well, I don't know. We're all different ages. I'm 64, but I had several people on my comment section say that they were in their 80s or their early 90s and they were getting total knee replacement, or they had had it 10 years ago and it changed their whole retirement and their life. They were very active. So I guess it's a personal choice between you and your doctor and your family, what have you. But I don't know. For me, even if I had something happen with my other knee 10 years down the line, I would do this. I just feel so much better now than I did before I had this surgery. I can climb stairs again. I mean, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do for a long time. And I feel like it's just given me my life back. So it's a very personal question, but for me, I would do it again. Another question I got a lot about was constipation. So I don't have a problem with that, and I didn't have a problem even with all the pills that they had me taking every day. But they do prescribe stool softeners. They did recommend eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, high fiber food, making sure that you were drinking a lot of liquids, and I had no issue whatsoever. But if you do talk to your doctor, maybe he needs to prescribe something a little bit stronger for your system. I don't know. But that's definitely something I also wouldn't let get away from me. Talk to your doctor if you're having any issues with that. When can I drive? So again, my doctor said 6 weeks, and you had to be off all your medications, and you had to have flexibility in your leg and your reflexes back to normal. So I actually waited the whole 6 weeks. I was not in a hurry. Anything that I really needed to do, I had kind of done prior to my surgery, other than going for my follow-up visits to the doctor and my physical therapy. Now, that might cause you to have to take an Uber or get a ride with a friend or a family member to something, but you can do a lot of prepping before your surgery to make sure that you're not out running around at the grocery store and all this other stuff. I mean, that time will come, and when you're ready, you'll know what it is, but check into different kind of dial-a-ride services in your area. They have medical transport. Like I said, Uber, Lyft, there's a lot of ways, family members who can take you to appointments. But for me, I waited the whole 6 weeks, and I wasn't in a hurry to go anywhere. My grandkids came to me during that time. Either my husband went and got them, or my daughter-in-law brought them over. And so I didn't have to worry about driving to get anybody. And it just worked out fine. Just make sure that you look into the other resources. I mean, I would say that about anything. Check out your resources and know what's available to you and use those things. I mean, they're there for us to use. Another big question that I got from a lot of different people was about out-of-pocket costs. You know, how do you manage those, that type of thing. Check with your insurance carrier before the surgery, so you know what to expect. You know, maybe you need to put it off for 6 months and save, or, you know, maybe they have something that you can work out an arrangement with the hospital or your doctor. I don't know. My insurance carrier gave me kind of the rundown, and I really had very little out-of-pocket costs. It was, you know, I was surprised. I mean, I'm sure the hospital, the doctor made money, but for me, I didn't have a lot of out-of-pocket costs on this surgery. So check with your doctor, check with Medicare if you're on Medicare, and find out what those are going to be ahead of time. They'll be able to go over all that with you. And the last question that I got a lot about was, how do I deal with my meals and my food? And, you know, especially the first 2 weeks after the surgery, how am I going to manage all this? Well, you know what? I'll tell you what I did. I prepped and I thought about it long before the knee replacement surgery. So I made lots of meals that I froze individually. So all I needed to do was take them out, put them in the microwave. Boom, I have dinner, I have lunch. I bought boxes of crackers in case I got, you know, feeling sick when I was taking pills. I bought bars. I had lots of drinks on hand. And, you know, if you get tired of eating those types of food after your surgery, there's always Uber Eats. There's delivery services from local restaurants. There's DoorDash. You can just use your app, use your phone, whatever it is that you use for your, being able to order things online or call delivery on pizzas or, whatever the food is that you eat. They can deliver everything at home now. It's just shocking how much food is available online that they can bring to your home. It is a little bit more expensive, so it's not something that I did at all. I really worked hard to make sure I had everything I needed before my surgery. I did not want to worry about anybody running around going to buy me things or anything. I wanted it all done ahead of time. And I'll tell you what, that prep made things so much easier, not just on me, but on the person who helped me, the first couple weeks while I was getting better. So those are my top questions that I got from subscribers. I hope that those are helpful to you. Like I said, check with your nurse that you're working with, your doctor, your healthcare provider, and get as much information as you can, because there's a lot of good information out there. And your doctor and your nursing staff, all that, they're there to help you. So don't be shy, ask the questions, and I hope if you're, starting this process, that it's a really successful one for you. I have a whole playlist of things for my total knee replacement. I'm going to link it right here at the end of my video. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring the bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Have a great surgery.